Nice deep breath. Fall into the pattern of your breathing. Nice deep breath. Fall into the pattern of your breathing. Welcome to those on Zoom. Welcome to those joining via YouTube live stream. I call it YouTube live stream of consciousness. So whatever media you are joining in on, welcome. All rivers run into the same ocean, apparently. Swallow once, circle your jaw around. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. How delightful. No agenda, nothing to prove, nothing to push, no one to prod, nothing to pressure, just being for a few minutes together. Wiggle your legs out a couple of times. We're starting on the back. Let your eyes roll back a little bit. I call it catatonia, which is where cats live. Expression relaxes from your face. Body sinks in. We're going to La La Land together. And direct your breathings down toward your belly button. Make a meditation. Meditation means paying attention. We're always paying attention to something. Sometimes willfully, sometimes unconsciously, but watch the rise and the fall. Feel the rise and the fall of your belly button. Let your enormously complex existence distill down to the rise and fall of your belly button. We have a very interesting theme today for our class. At least I think it's interesting. I guess we'll see if you think it's interesting. But not yet. Clear our minds, make room for something new to come in. Is it possible that on this very day we could gain an insight or a new perspective or a new angle on existence that is of great value to us? I pray that every day. Can't always live on yesterday's understanding, nor should we. Good. Now, biggest inhale of the whole year. Big inhale, filling up. Fill up your balloon. Exhale, let it all go. Deflate, empty, release. And just reside in a spaciousness for a moment. Welcome if you're just stopping in. Parking lot gets crowded on Sunday, and occasionally there are fights in the parking lot. So if you're just getting in and rolling out your mat, welcome. Good. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Deliberately conjure feel good. Sat Chit Ananda. ever conscious, ever aware, ever new bliss, and circulate it through your nadis, NADIS, your channels of energy that run through your body. Arms up to the ceiling. Lace up your hands, stretch up over your head. Point your toes forward, writhe around. I'm going to change my name to Greg Writhy because I'm always writhing around in ecstasy on the floor. Big smile on your face, because why not? Good. Draw your knees in, give yourself a hug, roll around like intoxicated turtles on your back. Welcome if you're just stopping in on the YouTube live stream of consciousness. It's great to have you. Good. Now transfer hands to your behind and let's roll up together. Hey, welcome. Now on your screen, there may be two urgent alerts that say, one could say this is being live streamed on YouTube and the other one says it's being recorded. So get by those disclaimers. None of your information or images are in any way visible. You can trust me to the degree that you can. We're perfectly anonymous. Anonymity is the 11th tradition in recovery, and I honor it. And I honor you. Hands to the heart. Good to see you all. Welcome to Sunday Sacred Self-Care Alliteration class. And close your eyes for a moment. Remember, we're not going anywhere other than here. And we're not going to somewhere in the future other than right now. This is the great miracle of the Sunday Sacred class. Just getting here. Today's topic is the yoga word samskara. It literally means rut or groove in the brain, where our habitual patterns of perception travel. And we'll just riff on that theme. We'll live stream of consciousness, and we will build some beautiful new grooves in our brain, and then everything will be groovy. Take the attention of your breath to the tip of your nose and just feel that. That's a Vipassana meditation, just watching the breath. It's so simple that it drives smart people crazy. And I've looked to see who's in class, and you're all very smart. So just watching your breath may seem trite, banal, boring, tedious, but get over yourself and just breathe. If you're anything like me, and you probably are if you come to my class, it's like, shouldn't I be doing something more productive? I could be learning to conjugate verbs in Mandarin Chinese right now, and I could be doing 1,000 other things all at once that would be more productive than doing nothing. I beg to differ. Nothing is the space, the context that allows you to arrange a million different patterns more efficiently and productively. Good, let's chant Om together. We'll do it somewhere between 8 and 13 times. Big inhale. Om. Feel that. Again, wiggle your fingers and toes and color, tint, influence your inner world with love and bliss and joy. This is building a new samskara, a new pattern of feeling inside of us. Good, now hold perfectly still and let it sink in. A great yoga saint of the 20th century named Yogananda, he basically said most humans are just bundles of habit. We're just big bundles of habit wrapped into a rope of habitual perceptions, thoughts, and feelings. And these habits are likely to not change unless we specifically direct ourselves in a new direction. Yoga is key in this. Good. Now open your eyes. Now, to drive this point home a little bit, it's our habit every Sunday to start on the floor. But today, just as a small example of this, we're going to do a little bit of standing stuff. So even changing the habit is the beginning of building a new samskara. So start in a forward fold. There will be nothing extreme unless you think it is. Extremism is in the eye of the beholder. Relax your hair. Let your brain drain out. Let your habitual patterns that have all congealed into who you think you are drain out. The difference between who we think we are and who we are is wider than the Grand Canyon. The deepest, a very deep samskara. Samskara, rut or groove in the brain. Everyone has them. No one's immune. It's not a bad thing. There are beautiful samskaras of gratitude and bliss and appreciation and harmony and cooperation and forgiveness. Leave those alone. Today we'll be just kind of looking at the samskaras that are less than pleasurable. If you'd like to know a list of them, please consult your DSM-5, your psychological litany of misery. Good. Come up, yogis. Inhale. So normally on Sunday, we're down there writhing around on the floor, but now we're out standing in our field. By the way, it's good to see you. A few friends have joined in. If you're on YouTube live stream of consciousness, welcome to the fastest growing yoga channel on the internet. Because when you go from 2 to 4, you are 100% bigger than you used to be. Good. Left foot forward, turn onto your right toenails. This is joint juice. This is a nice way to break up the accretions of perception that have congealed in our silly brains. Other way. 2, 3, 4. And right foot forward onto your left toenails. Now, my teacher called what I call joint juice, he called it viyama, which literally means to break up the congestion of habitual patterns. Other way, 2, 3. Now, habits are great. It's nice when you get in your car and you remember where you live. You don't have to, other way with your ankle. You don't have to remember. Inhale, exhale. We wouldn't have evolved without patterns. Now, feet out wide, bend your knees, and just come down a little bit. Nothing extreme. It's Sunday self-care sacred class. Our bodies are congealed patterns of movement. Inhale, come up. Release. And we'll chant Om on the way out with our angel wings. Hands at your heart, drop your chin, close your eyes. Now I've got a personal question, and there will not be a test at the end. The test will be the rest of your life. And that is, do you have any negative ruts or grooves of perception that assail you, that beset you? And if you're human, it's likely that you do. And God only knows what they are. A habit, an addiction, a compulsion, a niggling little thing that we do. It's just, we're all wrought with those things because we're human, but we can change and redirect those. Good. Push your hands down. Inhale. Lace up your paws, feet together. The great yogis of antiquity lean left. They coined the word samskara. Inhale up and to the right. they realized in their higher states of consciousness how susceptible humans were, inhale, to developing these deep rivers or channels of perception, and down to your back and up and poof. So philosophers have been arguing about free will versus determinism for endless cups of coffee in French cafes for centuries. Up your back. And the truth is we have both. When we're robots, we're in our samskaras, just doing what comes automatically. Free will is the ability to lift our mind out of a groove and build a new one, release out. Good job. Now step out wider, drop your chin. Remember, this is not a logical presentation today. This is not a slideshow. This is just the suggestion of spiritual ideas. Let them sink in, bat them around in your own consciousness. Other way with your head. 1, 2, 3. And after 4, relax your head down, close your eyes, be contemplative, contemplative for a few moments, soft hands and feet. Now I've got an interesting notion for you. The greatest catalyst to build a new groove in our brain that's positive, healthy, and functional is pain. Pain is the catalyst that sears and scorches new samskaras. So if you have pain, congratulations. It's the catalyst that can build a new samskara. Inhale up. Now you might be thinking, well, I don't really like that, and too bad. But pain is the touchstone of all spiritual growth. I bet you've heard that before. Up, over, and around. Other way. Now, I'm not suggesting go be in pain. I'm just saying if and when you find that you're in it, use it productively. I call it productive suffering rather than the unproductive kind. Good. And then roll out your wrists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shake out your hands. Lose your mind. Flippy flops. We all have our subgrooves of perception. You have yours. I have mine. Cup your hands at your heart. Drop your chin. Close your eyes. Since we all have our individual patterns of perception, that's what makes us individuals. But underneath that is a common ground, the archetypes, and then below that is a great river of perception, Sat, Chit, Ananda, ever conscious, ever aware, ever new bliss. Hands on your hips. Speaking of bliss, wing your hips around. Other way. Modern neuroscience has discovered the same principle as the ancient yogis. They say that which fires together, wires together. So when modern seers and ancient seers agree on a principle, we should listen. They call it neuroplasticity, the ability to change a pattern in our brain. Good job. All right, now feet together, and we'll be on the floor in a moment, yay. And knees around in a little circle. So every time we do yoga, we're building and expanding patterns of movement that are healthy and functional and brilliant. Other way. We are pattern creating primates. And if you have a good one, expand it. And if you have a crappy one, burn it out and make a new one. Inhale, come up. Chanting Om is a great way to build new ones. Om. Hands at your heart. Drop your chin. Close your eyes. We'll stand in standing meditation for approximately 30 seconds. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. I do want you to conjure your biggest painful pattern of perception into your consciousness. Just, it won't be hard to find. It's the thorn in your side. God only knows what it is, but just acknowledge it. My thing is, what is it? What's the painful pattern of perception that is the alligator attached to your leg? And it's only there because there's a great river of momentum running through your brain and we can redirect it. I'm not asking to bring this up to increase the pain, but to decrease it. Good. Now have a seat. All right. A seated Om, big inhale with me. Clear your mind. Every time we chant Om, we liquefy solidified patterns of perception and make them available to be reshaped. It's hard to reshape a big block of ice, but it's easy to swish around a bowl of water. They're the same thing, just in different conditions. Seated forward fold, come on down. Stop thinking. Move your hair around, relax your head. Be happy for no apparent reason. That's called Sat Chit Ananda. It's the greatest river. It's the deepest samskara in our whole entire being. We can be trapped in our sub-rivers, our little grooves forever and never feel this vast river of bliss and joy running underneath us. Or you can decide to aim in that direction. Isn't it nice to know that pain is the touchstone of all spiritual growth? If we do find ourselves suffering from a painful pattern of perception, pain is the catalyst that wires in a new perception. The key word is aim. You have to aim in a new direction. Inhale, come up, yogis. Yoga is aiming, isn't it? It's aiming our body in different directions. Aim your butt up, lift up. And exhale, come on down. It's rather obvious if we don't do yoga or some system of movement, our body just gets congealed into very habitual patterns of movement. Hands wide, inhale. Come on down. Now I know you all know Newton's first law of motion, and an object is going to stay in its same path unless it's acted upon by an opposing or diverging force of some sort. Same with the patterns in our brain. If we're all the time anxious or fearful or worried, those emotions and thoughts have a momentum. Unless they're acted upon by something else, they will go forever. Inhale, come up. What's the primary thing we can do that redirects? Prayer. Prayer is aiming our soul in a different direction. Lift up. It may not be the prayer we're used to where we beg God for a new Cadillac Escalade. Exhale, come on down. It's called contemplative prayer, where we aim our soul toward where we want to go. Inhale up, regular exhale out. Now bring the hands into the heart, drop your chin. Now draw into your mind the most painful samskara that is currently assailing you. And instead of dwelling on that, what would you like instead? If you're anxious, would you like calm? If you're fearful, would you like confidence? If you're poverty stricken, would you like abundance? If you're sick, would you like to be healthy? This is aiming the pain in the direction of a new samskara. No one will do this for us. No one will re-aim our ship for us. If we don't aim, someone will aim us, and off into the confusion we go. Lace your hands, push up. You ever noticed how willing the world is to aim you where it wants you to go? Buy this, go that, believe that. Turn right, left hand, right knee, turn to the right. Hold here. Inhale and release. Switch the cross of your legs. It may be excruciatingly difficult to get out of a painful samskara, but it can be done. And push your paws up, laced. And exhale, turn left, right hand, left knee. Hold here. It's like picking up the needle out of the groove of an album that's just endlessly stuck and setting it off somewhere else. And release. Inhale up. I was watching a little Sadhguru on YouTube, the wonderful yoga friend who's all over the place. Exhale out. Shoulders. So one of his YouTubes is titled Suffering is an Ally, Pain is Your Friend. It's a weird way of thinking about it. Pain is the touchstone of all spiritual growth. We gather up the pain that we feel that's habitual and automatic, and we use it as a caustic fire to build a new wiring in our brain. Good job. Now take your paws out, flip them over, lean into them. Drop your chin, close your eyes, open your mind to concepts and ideas, not mine, the bigger ones. Now, neuroscience says most of our deepest patterns of perception were wired in by the time we're 8 years old, which is a truly astonishing realization. Some of the deepest, most painful patterns were dug into our brain before we could even aim ourselves. Some we were even born with, our DNA. Generational pain passed on from one brain, one generation to the next, until one soul says, enough, I'm going to stop this chain of misery. I'm going to aim my unconscious pain toward conscious freedom. Good, come up and out. So not only are you helping yourself, you're helping your ancestors and your following generations by using pain productively. Exhale out, arms up your back, elbows inside your knees, push in, drop your chin. Do we want to hand on the baggage of our misery to our progenitors, to the people who come after us? No. quieting our mind once a day for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 minutes, whatever you got. It slows the momentum of the great rivers of perception in our own head and allows us to feel a much deeper river that's perfectly loving, harmonious, intelligent, beautiful. In the absence of that, it's just the same records playing all day long, from cradle to grave. Good. Feet together. If you're a yogi, you don't want that. You want to be a deliberate, willful, free-willed, choosing person. Rub the middle center bottom of your foot. In recovery, it's called a moment of clarity when you realize you're running a deep pattern of pain in your brain and you suddenly make a decision to aim your soul in a new direction. Now, press gently with your thumb into the middle center bottom of your foot. And I'd like for you to feel exactly the way your life feels right now. Feel all the subgrooves, all operational, all active, leading to a personal and unique way of feeling and perceiving the world. This is a great gift, isn't it? Very good. Wag your knees, break up ancient patterns of tightness and stiffness in our body. So we work on the continuum, the body, we move the body and the feelings change, and the feelings change, and the thinking change, and then the body changes, and then the behavior changes, and we evolve. Knees together, pull your heels in as far as you can, grab underneath your knees, wrap as tightly as you can without popping yourself, and float your head up, drop your chin, quieting the thinking is chitta vritti nirodha. It's quieting the habitual patterns of movement in our brain. Good, you guys. And stretch your legs out. It's rather daunting to think our primary patterns of perception were built into us before we could even do anything about it. Sure is cool if you have great parents who taught you wonderful ways of perceiving, which we did, of course. Lift up. And exhale and come on down. Cross your right thigh over your left. If you can hook your right ankle under, do that. If you can't, slide in a little ways. Slide in as far as you can. Close your eyes. Feel your body. Perhaps we had parents who didn't teach us how to aim our strong feelings in a very functional or productive way. They couldn't because they weren't taught. Humans are aiming creatures, and we're taught to aim. And let's aim in the highest direction that we know. So speaking of highest direction, lift your butt up as high as you can. Exhale. And come on down, yogis. Now switch the cross. Now, up until about 1960, neuroscience didn't believe we could change these great patterns in our brain. About 1960, the principle of neuroplasticity came in. slide in. They discovered that humans who had undergone deep brain injury could develop new wirings in their brain. This is very good news. This is the same discovery yogis discovered 6,000 years ago. By using pain and perception and sensation wisely, we could build glorious new patterns of perception. New samskaras lift up. And come on down, yogis. Good. And stretch your legs out. Now withdraw your left foot in. Extend your right heel out. If you like blocks, that's wonderful. And we're just going to do about a 1 minute fold over our right leg, Janu Sirshasana. This is not one of those extremely bendy, you got to push as hard as you can classes. What I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to find the edge of your range of motion. Feel it as the boundary between who you are and who you're becoming. And just relax, close your eyes, be at the edge of who you are and who you're becoming. Soften around your neck, back, and shoulders. The interesting thing about pain is that it always exposes what's wanted. When you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. And once that's discovered, then you can aim. If you're anxious, you can aim toward calm. If you're poverty stricken, you can aim toward a prosperity consciousness. If you feel sick, you can aim toward health. And then begin to send your sensations, feelings, thoughts, emotions, and behavior in that direction. No one will do that for us. Two more breaths. So in other words, pain can be used to etch the painful groove deeper into our brain by just being unconscious, used to aim in a new direction. And even scientists say that once we redirect the wiring in our brain to a new pattern, the old pattern is still there, but we work around it. We'll always have the original house that was wired inside of our brain, but you can build vast new corridors and rooms of happy patterns of perception. Come on up. That's really good news, you guys. Up until about 1960, neuroscience said you were a cake, you were baked, you were done, you were cooked. Thank God that's not true. Literally, thank God. Come down over your left leg. Take your time. Now let's understand that building a new pattern in our brain from a deep, painful old one takes time, takes patience. It takes exactly what we don't want. It takes patience and persistence and diligence to build a deep new groove in our psyche. Breathe into the sensation that you're feeling as you get to the edge of your range of motion. So after a while, you can make pain more subtle and just turn it into sensation and aim your sensation toward breathe a little more deeply. if you're drilling a hole in a piece of wood and you just stop the drill for a moment, at least the hole won't get any deeper. You could back the drill out and aim it someplace else. I think you get the idea. On your next inhale, come on up, yogis. Every day at the end of the day, you could do a 10th step and ask yourself, this very day, did I drill my painful patterns in a little more deeply, or did I aim in a different direction? Inhale up. Oh. Or today, was I asleep at the wheel, careening down the highway of my catastrophe, just not paying attention? Close your eyes. Now, when you're driving on the freeway and you're in a beautiful lane and you're happy, joyous, and free, good for us. Good for us. That momentum will increase. But then there are the speed bumps. That's the beginning of a different groove, isn't it? If you want to change lanes, great. If the disturbance is strong, steer better. Stop thinking. Now I want to wind this down toward the deepest groove in our being. The deepest samskara is Sat Chit Ananda. And if we're struggling with a really painful pattern of perception, if you just put the gosh darn oars down, you will drop into the deepest current of all, the deepest groove, ever conscious, ever aware, ever new bliss that's ready to pick us up, take us where we want to go. It's the rising tide underneath all of our little teeny ships. Okay, on your back, which is groovy. Legs up. Grab your big toes from inside of your knees and rock side to side. We move the body in fun, peaceful, happy, rhythmic, releasing ranges of motion. Good, and knees on the floor, look around. So Newton's first law of motion is an object will continue its momentum unless acted upon. So that's Greg's first law of emotion. Greg's first law of emotion is a painful emotion running unconsciously unchecked will continue toward hell, or you could redirect it. Rest your head down, straighten your legs as much as you can, get right to the edge of your movement bandwidth. Swallow, drop your chin. I don't care if you can straighten your legs. I care that you try. I care that you visit the boundary of your being and redirect sensation, emotion, and pain, if you're feeling it, toward the angels of your higher nature. Good, lift up your hands. Good, now let go, surrender, let your legs widen out all the way. Place your hands behind your head for comfort. So our head is very happy because we have a pillow underneath it, and our legs are very crabby because they're being ripped off out to the side based on another one of Newton's discoveries, the law of gravity. First law of motion, and it's just going to continue where it's going unless it's acted upon. Same with everything inside of our head. Good, now lift up your head part, bend your knees, find a blanket or a block or a pillow or an animal to put underneath your head. Grab your right knee, let your left leg down. Now lift up your head hella far. So you put your right knee inside your right armpit and then hook your right elbow over your right knee. If you can, and it's not too extreme, shift your knee over to the left, put your left elbow over your right knee. But if you can't get your head back down, that's too much redirection all at once. The key to aiming is aim at something you can hit. If your bank account says minus $1 million, to aim at $1 million instantly is too big of an aim. So aim towards something you feel like you can hit. If you're racked with fear, aim at the beginning of calm. If you're racked with anxiety, aim at a little bit of confidence and peace. Hold here. The key to aiming is small increments. A good analogy, you're driving 60 miles an hour in your car. You decide you want to go back home to get something and you flip your steering wheel as hard as you can. Not the best idea. Probably better to make a series of small turns. Make a U-turn at the next legal intersection. Good, now lift up your head part. Now release your righty leg up to the ceiling. Grab lefty knee, set righty down. Lift up your head hecka high. Put your left elbow inside that's actually your knee, inside your armpit. Hook the elbow over. Maybe take the knee over to the right elbow over. You decide. You decide how much you're going to aim on any given day. Now we can go long periods of time in mild pain from a bad samskara, and just, we learn to live with it. The devil we know is better than the devil we don't. But when pain intensifies enough, it becomes a flamethrower. You cannot not move. Push out through your right heel, bring your left knee in. Hold here. Good, now draw both knees in. Lift up your head, knees together, head down. Take your knees around in 8 circles to the right. Now, when I'm in all my work with people and with myself, sometimes you don't even know what to aim at. You've been aimed by so many other forces, you don't even know where to aim. And this is where belief in something knees in the other direction. We can ask infinite wisdom or intelligence or love to aim for us. It's absolutely available if you're confused. Without this greater aiming capacity, in technical terms, we'd be really screwed. Now widen out your knees and roll up. So it's our job to do small aiming, and we can always ask for big aiming help. Fold your right shin under. Place your hands behind your head. Tilt right. Aim yourself down and to the right. So yoga is the art of aiming our body in different directions, isn't it? Now, we all know the word sin, don't we? We're familiar with that religious term, sinning. The word sin comes from an ancient Greek word, hamartia, which means to miss the mark. It means you shot your arrow in the wrong direction and you missed the mark. That was to sin. So it's a nice way of thinking about it. Our sins are our painful patterns of perception based at aiming at the wrong thing. Pull the damn arrow out, re-aim, especially if the arrow continues to land in your own butt. I've shot a few arrows into myself. Inhale, come up, stretch up. Good, now we're gonna really aim strongly and ecstatically, hands behind you. Aim your pelvis up to the ceiling, lift up. Aim high, kids. If you wanna reach the moon, you gotta shoot for the stars, lift up. No more aiming at crappy stuff. Come on down. Stop sinning. This suddenly turned into a sermon. Just kidding. Take your leg out. Just talking to myself. I've aimed at some bad stuff. We all do it. We were aimed by people who didn't know how to aim, and sure helps you to find what you like. Now grab your elbows, elbows up. Now frame your aim left to right. It's crazy to think how much of our psychic aiming was forged into place before we even had the architecture to aim elsewise. It's not easy being human. Good, now arms down, but we do learn, don't we? Now, take your real left hand out to the side. Curve it around so the little finger side buries like a hatchet into your heart. Make the Ote symbol with your right hand. Curve it around and make an Ankh, hieroglyph, a mudra at your heart. Drop your chin, close your eyes, and simply just make an internal commitment, a decision. I will aim my soul in the highest direction that I know. If I am in pain, I'll remember as quickly as possible that pain always exposes what I want, and I will aim myself toward it. And if I can't even aim, I'll ask for help. Chant Om to embed this prayer in your heart. Big inhale. You guys sound great today. Some grooves produce the most beautiful music. You guys remember LPs, don't you? Maybe you still have them. If you had a bunch of LPs and some of them were really crappy, would you listen to them? Would you consciously pull them out and put them on your record player? Of course you wouldn't. That would be, well, insane. Good, now take your thumbs underneath your big toe metatarsal, dig in and build a new groove in your foot. Ow. Make it a little painful. Make it a little stimulating. Make it a little provocative. Make it a little yikes. And then there's your catalyst. There's your resource. Push in. Om Shanti Peace. That's a beautiful aim. Sat Chit Ananda. That's a beautiful aim. Lord, make me a channel of thy peace. That's a beautiful aim. I live and move and breathe and have my being in God. That's a beautiful aim. Things are always getting better for me. That's a beautiful aim. Things are always working out for me. I think you get the idea. Aim wisely. Good. Now, squeeze the crap out of ourselves. Bring the right knee in. Hook your left elbow around. Now, I know all of you can do a stronger twist, but I just want you to hook your left elbow in front. I know it's too easy for you, but one of the notions I want to get across is that it just doesn't have to be as hard as we think. Now, tuck your tummy and pull it to the right. Hug your knee in. Easy does it, twist to the right. Now, when you think about it, aiming is not difficult. Aiming is just pointing your soul in a different direction. It's turning the other cheek. It's aiming. You don't have to struggle to squeeze a new image into a camera. You just need to aim it in a new direction. Or, better said, be absurdly happy for no contingent reason. See, it's right there behind the screen of our caterwauling, the bliss that floods up to the surface. Good, yogis. Now from here, open thy eyes. We're in the Om stretch, you guys. Now, just bring and take your right foot around in a circle. Other way. Good. Now put your right elbow inside your right knee and grab your great toe. That's what they call it in England. Doesn't that sound better? In England, you grab your great toe, not your banal American big toe. Just pull it in and just straighten it out as much as you can. And then rebend it. And then re-straighten it. Good. Now your body is where your body is. You've built a groove with your body of where it goes. Your groove might be circus performer. Your leg goes straight up. It might be a circus clown. It may not even bend at all. Just straighten it as you can. Close your eyes, accept the groove that you've built. Is it a groovy groove, or do you want to move into a new groove? Sometimes it would behoove you to move into a different groove. Good. Now rebend. Take left hand outside right foot, out on the outside of your skate, and then straighten it over to the left as far as you can and turn to the right. Aim pain toward what you want to feel instead, and then Greg calls that productive suffering. Unproductive suffering is digging the groove deeper into our head for the rest of our life. Good. Come out of that side. Now, unfortunately, the groove in my body will not let me fold my shin under on this side. So I'm going to fake it. Your right knee goes to the side and aim left. One of the great things of yoga is you learn to aim in different directions. If you're always aiming to the left, maybe you need to aim to the right on occasion. If you're always aiming to the right, maybe you need to contemplate what the left is like. Maybe you don't even you need to aim at all some days. You can trust the greatest aim in the world to aim you toward love and bliss and joy. Good. Come on up. Now, just to increase your capacity to aim, hands behind you, shin still folded under, and aim your pelvis to God. Lift up as high as you can. Stretch your stretchiness. Increase your capacity to expand and to aim in a joyful, ecstatic direction. Exhale. Come on down, yogis. Now, aim your left foot over your right knee. I've switched from Crest toothpaste to Aim toothpaste just to get this point across. And I'm also brushing my teeth with my left hand to try to build a new groove in my body. That was actually a lie. I'm going to start doing that tonight because I just said it. We can make these little sub grooves every day, just little teeny ones. All right. Now, from here, we're going to put our left forearm on top and we're going to relax our hands down. And this is the samskara. This is the groove. This is the asana of peace and calm and connection. This is a good groove. This is the deepest groove. Remember all of our little hysterical, crappy, miserable samskaras. They're just the little teeny etchings on a far larger monument. And they'll just be blown away with the breeze, fall into a deeper groove. There's no groove in our mind that a power greater, a deeper groove can't easily wipe away in a moment if we're fully willing and ready. For those of you keeping score at home, that's step 6 in the 12 steps. We were entirely willing and ready to let God remove all these shitty grooves of character. I've slightly rephrased it. Pardon my bad language. It's a bad groove. Grab your elbows, elbows up, side, side. Frame yourself differently, aim differently. Good. Now pause down. Now I want you to consciously stimulate some pain. I want you to conjure it up by puncturing the middle center bottom of your foot with your thumb. So this is hormesis. This is the conscious gathering of pain rather than the kind we're beaten with unconsciously when we're not paying attention. Push in as far as you can till you go. Feel that and simply aim your mind toward love and bliss and joy with your sensation. I aim my sensation toward love. Well, that's crazy talk. Yeah. Good. And just a little bit of that goes a long way. Now slurp your left knee in. And now, since a principle today is easy aiming does the trick, you don't have to go to an extreme twist. Just wrap your right elbow in front today, okay? Pull your guts in, left arm behind you, aim left. You don't have to beat on a camera to aim at a new image. This damn camera, it keeps aiming at the same image over and over again. No, it doesn't. You do. Now, let's blame the appropriate people. We were mostly aimed badly by our silly, ignorant parents, but we took the aim and we ran with it. So no one's to blame for bad aim, but we are responsible for re-aiming. Good. Now take your foot, bring it up, wing it around. It's our last sequence today. Elbow inside your knee, grab your great toe, pull the knee way behind you bent, and just straighten her out. Where's your body groove? Don't compare yourself to nobody else's grooves. It's no use. Just you have 500 LPs in your collection. Which albums do you want to put out? Which groove do you want to be in? Bend the knee. Take your right hand around the outside of your foot with your knee bent, and then straighten as you will, and turn left. Drop the left hip, expand your shoulders, be a groovy groove. Everything is groovy, even when it isn't. We are bundles of habits. And rebend that thing. Perfect timing. I got to hand it to myself sometimes. I am amazing. Now, that's a new groove I'm trying to build. I'm trying to kind of over exaggerate my own personal wonderfulness to overcome the grooves of self loathing and criticism. Who doesn't have that? Let's build some new grooves. Okay. Let's chant Om and then we'll go into Shavasana. Big ol' inhale. Be absurdly happy for no reason. That's the groove of Sat, Chit, Ananda, ever conscious, ever aware, ever new bliss of being. That's the deepest river running underneath us. So lie on your back, put the oars down, float down the great current of Ananda, of bliss, and I'll be here holding space for you. And peace be with you. Oh. Relax fully, relax more than you ever have if you're willing. Now, as we do every week, we practice Ishvara Pranidhana, and today, within the theme of infinite wisdom, God, love, source, bliss, infinite higher organizing principle, all that is, I let go of my sub-aiming and I submit and I surrender myself to your perfect aim, your highest good. May the samskaras, the grooves in my soul, align with the biggest one of all. Amen. The power behind that prayer, if honestly and unreservedly declared, is literally immeasurable. A life can be picked up instantly and set in a new direction instantly. Good. Wiggle your fingers and toes and circulate the glory of the highest aim through yourself. Good. Draw your knees in and aim yourself over to the right. Curl up in a groovy groove of love and acceptance and nurturing and peace. Good. Then we'll sit up with eyes closedness to keep the groovy groove on the inside. With our eyes closed, we're much more unified and contiguous, aren't we? We're not our separate meatball clumps. We're one vibrational groove. Hands to the heart, drop the chin. Feel that current, that river of bliss running straight through the center of our heart. I'll meet you there. So good. Thanks to the one who brings us all together. Together we all say, Namaste.